New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at CuriosityStream.com.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Join us as we seek the truth and travel the long road to justice. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm GiGi, flying solo today. Fruit Loop is out of town for a couple of days, a much needed vacation after her surgery. So I wanted to come on and update you guys on several things happening right now. Josh Duggar was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in prison earlier. We have a few things to cover before that. But first, we want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Too Cool T-Shirt Quilts. You can go to toocooltshirtquilts.com/prettyliesandalibis. Check them out. They can take your t-shirts and make them into a quilt that is too cool. All right. So first, we just want to say that today would have been JJ Vallow's 10th birthday. And very bittersweet day, I know, for Kay and Larry Woodcock and Crusha and his dad, Todd, and everybody that knew and loved that little guy. So we want to wish JJ a very happy heavenly birthday. Yesterday was just a gut-wrenching day in this country. We had 19 kids and 2 teachers murdered in a school in Texas yesterday. And as a parent who has a kid, these kids' ages, 10 years old, it is just a worst fear of mine to have to get an alert on my phone that there's a shooting at my kid's school. And this morning I was taking my youngest, who's in 5th grade, just a week away from being finished with school. These kids would have been finished with school, I think, tomorrow. And normally on the way to school, we listen to some music and have a little mini concert for the 5 minutes it takes us to get there. And today, the radio was off, and I'm reminding her what to do in the event that somebody comes into her school and starts shooting. And, when we were kids, this was something we never had to worry about. We felt safe at school. These days, it's so different. And, she got out of the car and I told her I loved her and have a good day. And she got out and turned around and smiled and waved. And it just hit me like yesterday, 19 parents did the same thing. And by that evening, 19 parents are standing in a line to give DNA to hopefully identify their kids and have some answers as to where their kids were. And it's just unfathomable. I don't know really what to say except, it's heavy stuff, y'all. And it's not getting any better. So just love and light to those parents. It's got to be the worst thing in the world. I can't even think about it. So anyways, all right. So moving on, been following this all day. Josh Duggar finally sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in prison for possession of the child abuse materials. It's actually ended up being 151 months. Now, the average on a federal level for this kind of charge is, I believe, I'm trying to pull it up here. Bear with me. It's like 80 something months, I believe. So he got well above what the average is, 81 months. The average sentence for this particular crime is 81 months. He got 151 months. And if you guys remember, he was found guilty in December in a 2-week trial, and he turned down a plea deal. So 20 is max. This is sort of what a lot of lawyers sort of estimated he would get at sentencing. And there is a criminal defense attorney on Twitter named Katie Esquire, And I asked her about early release, and she said that the last 6 months are usually in a halfway house in federal cases, but he'll have to serve 85%, which would kind of be between 10 and a half and 11 years. So the judge set some terms for his release. He will have 20 years of supervised probation. He cannot be around minors. He will have a child that will still be a minor when he gets out of prison, and no internet access. When the sentencing was handed down, he showed no emotion, and the judge called the crimes the sickest of the sick. Anna and his wife, Anna, and Jim Bob, his dad, were said to be emotionless. He had some other siblings there, Joyanna and Jason. They said they appeared to be sad when the verdict was handed down, but they didn't interact with any of the Duggar family when they left. And from what the U.S. Sun News reporter who was inside the courtroom said, that they actually sat on the back row of the prosecution side. So where will he go? There's one of two places that the judge will send him. One is in Seagoville, Texas, or Texarkana, Arkansas. And the Seagoville prison, according to the judge, has a very good sex offender kind of program to, over the years, try to work with Josh to get to the root of this and reform him. But it will depend on availability at that prison, whether or not he goes. And that will not be mandatory. So it would be up to Josh if he wanted to participate in that program. So in their argument, the prosecution said that Josh is likely to reoffend, saying he has never received treatment for his addictions, has had no accountability, and has molested minors in the past, which we know are his sisters. Judge Brooks said that Josh has a history of sexual abuse, and he said he couldn't get one particular image that Josh had downloaded out of his head, calling it the sickest of the sick. And Josh declined to make a statement. He has 14 days to appeal. He was also ordered to pay $50,100 in fines that has to be paid within so many months of his release. And so let's kind of go through what we know about what transpired in the courtroom today. Initially, the reporter for the U.S. Sun News said that Josh was said to be in happy spirits and joked with the judge's clerk. He turned around and spoke to Anna several times. When he came in the courtroom, Anna gave him the I love you hand symbol. And cousin Amy actually gave an interview to the U.S. Sun and said she wanted the harshest sentence possible for Josh. Now, yesterday, a judge denied the defense request for a dismissal or a new trial, saying in his written ruling that Mr. Duggar's argument lacks merit, as there is ample evidence he viewed the images of child pornography. We like to call it child abuse materials. Children do not have a choice whether or not they participate. So I'm just reading verbatim what he said, that had been downloaded to his business computer. The court this morning officially vacated that second count, which was the lesser charge of possession of child abuse materials. It was dismissed without prejudice, meaning it's over. He cannot be retried for that, can't be brought back to court. That was actually an agreement between the defense and the prosecution. So both sides agreed to drop that count. So the defense had some arguments. This took hours. We're just now finishing up. It's 3:45 Central Time where the hearing took place. Started around 9:30. So it's been all day. And one of the reasons is there were 22 objections to the pre-sentence report that was given to the court to consider sentencing. And so some of the things that they argued, they maintained his innocence and used the conduct section of the pre-sentence report. This was overruled. The judge says it's too broad. They argued that the victims involved in the materials were not personally victimized by Josh, and that was overruled. And I'm glad, because every single time that this stuff is sent and distributed across the internet, that victim is re-victimized, whether it's in person or not. And I thought that was a really low argument. I guess defense attorneys do what they have to do, but to say that a child is not a victim every time that video is shared, to me, is just, it's not the way it is. They also objected to a level 2 enhancement that Josh knowingly engaged in distribution of child abuse materials, which was sustained. The judge said the state did not meet their proof of showing that burden. There was an objection to a level 4 enhancement for sadistic, masochistic conduct, arguing the testimony was inconsistent testimony at the trial in which the files were downloaded. The judge said the argument was frivolous and overruled that. So there was an objection to a level 5 enhancement. So you have 5 levels of enhancement, and the higher the level of enhancement, it plays into how long the judge can sentence you. So obviously, every increasing level up to 5, you get more. Josh was at a 4. And this level 5 enhancement for pattern of activity, which related to molesting his sister, somebody's at my door, and he was never charged.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Charged with molesting his sisters. The prosecution argued that Bobby Hoyt's testimony of hearing his confession years ago showed a pattern of behavior, and that objection was overruled. The pre-sentencing report essentially is an expert assessment of the nature and causes of an offender's behavior, the risks they pose and to whom, as well as an independent recommendation of the sentencing options available to the court. So initially they had him as downloading 725 known images on his computer. So the level 5 enhancement requires that it be at least 600. So initially it would have fit a level 5 enhancement. They talk about some math, which we stink at math. So we'll just say that some of the videos amount to so many images essentially. And the number they came up with today was 590, which was obviously 10 images short of the 600 for the level 5. So that objection was sustained with the condition it is a level 4 enhancement. His attorneys objected to the Ashley Madison scandal coming in, saying it proves moral shortcomings and an addiction to pornography. The judge agreed in this case is not relevant except for treatment while incarcerated and maybe after he's released, but said there's nothing illegal about adult pornography. Denise Wilson, so they brought in some letters that were written in support. We posted all of those on social media, and on our previous episode about Josh Duggar, we covered just really broadly some of the letters and their content. If you recall, his mom wrote one, and this one really kind of, it's one of those that I'm kind of shaking my head. So Denise Wilson, who is a widow of the Duggar family's pastor, wrote a letter essentially making a saint out of Josh, saying he has kept her and her 9 kids up financially until Anna recently called saying they couldn't do it anymore due to the fact that Josh is going to prison. And, I'm certainly sympathetic to anybody that loses a spouse. It happens every day. One parent is left with children on their own due to the death of a spouse. And I don't know why this, maybe she's trying to say that, oh, wow, he's great. He gave me a lot of money to support me and my 9 kids. But my point is this. Every day, a lot of widows and widowers who have children to support have to go get 1, 2, 3 jobs to just barely make the bills. And, that's the thing is, especially in this religion, these women are never taught skills beyond the home. They're taught to be wives and mothers and housekeepers. So, the money train's gone to prison. And I'm very sympathetic to Miss Wilson's situation of being a single parent of 9 as a widow. But, she said Josh acted as if it was just a natural thing to do. He told me, we're just doing what the Bible says. To have pure religion is to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction. Also, so what they did is they did have a parent of one of the victims in one of the videos that Josh viewed give a written, I think was a written impact statement. And that said, as the parent of one of the victims depicted in the child sex abuse material the defendant downloaded, she said her daughter became an anxious and fretful shadow of her former self after being sexually abused. And when addressing the harm caused by offenders like Duggar, who traffic in images depicting the worst moments of my daughter's life, I can find no words to express the fury I feel at those who participate in this evil, or my scorn for any attempt to minimize the responsibility by feeble claims that the crime was victimless. My daughter is a real person. She was horribly victimized to provide this source of, and it's in quotes, entertainment. She is exploited anew each and every time an image of her suffering is copied, traded, or sold. While the crime is clearly consciencelessness, it's hardly victimless. When her daughter was asked what she wanted most from the judge, the victim said, please don't let them pretend no one is getting hurt. And man, what a powerful statement, because I don't know the age of this kid now. She could be a teenager. She could be an adult. We just don't know. But to think that this poor person's images are still out there has to just be devastating. And I can't imagine living with something like that, or as a mother, knowing my child went through that. I thought that was very powerful, and I'm glad that was brought in. On a petty side, the reporter said that Josh is said to have lost even more hair since his trial in December. So that's kind of it. Done deal. He's going away for at least 10 and a half, 11 years with that 85% last 6 months, likely in a halfway house to reacclimate him back into society, God forbid. The one thing that Katie Esquire said on Twitter is that with the sex offender laws, these guys are monitored so closely that a lot of times they reoffend and go right back in. He's not going to be out for a while, but when he does get out, let's hope that they keep very, very close tabs on him. I'm not optimistic he will be cured in prison. He's been doing this since he was 15. At least we know at 15, God knows before then or in between them that we don't know about. So that's it. For the first time ever, Josh Duggar is paying for his crimes. He is paying for being a predator. And I think the fact that he came into court kind of happy today and joking around, maybe in the back of his mind, he thought there was going to be a moment where the judge said, hey, you're free to go. You're good. Sorry, buddy. See you in 10 or 11 years. Real quick, an update on Kaitlin Armstrong. Not much new other than the big fact that they revealed today that Kaitlin Armstrong was seen 3 days after Mo's murder around 12:30 p.m. May 14th, leaving Austin, Texas on a plane to New York with a connection in Houston. She flew into LaGuardia Airport. This is the day after she was questioned by authorities. If you remember, they had a misdemeanor warrant and the warrant was not valid, so they let her go. The arrest warrant wasn't signed until May 17th, so she was able to fly undetected. I don't understand why they didn't have surveillance on her, but I know for the arrest warrant, they probably were waiting on those ballistic reports from the shell casings found at the scene compared to the gun that her boyfriend Colin had bought her. And we know they said that was a match. I mean, the thing is, she could be anywhere now. And people that knew her say she was well-traveled and she had traveled internationally extensively. So her dad, Michael Armstrong, yesterday morning was on Good Morning America and said, I know her. I know what she believes, and I know she would not do something like this. There are a lot of unanswered questions. We love you, Kaitlin, and we're going to figure this out. I know as a parent, you don't want to think your kid did something so terrible as to take a human life over some dude. But it's going to be really, really hard to wiggle out of this one for Kaitlin. Colin was 8 miles away when the murder happened. The gun was a positive match, and her car was there right at the time of the murder. So I'm not sure how it could be anything different. Presumed innocent, though. But why you running, girl? Anyway, so that's all for today. Oh, I have to tell you guys, I have puppies. Geez, I have new kittens. 2 new kittens. My kids yesterday, my daughter after school drives herself to the animal shelter and FaceTimes me from there with these 2 cute kittens. So I show up with the intent of making sure she doesn't come home with a kitty. And then we saw 2 brothers, and they're super cute. And I can't remember their names. They're after some kind of Greek mythology, something. I'll have to ask my daughter. I'll bring them on next time. So anyways, that's all for today. Maybe on solo tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Hope you guys have a good evening.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.